Hello visuals and welcome to podcast episode 31. We're flying through these podcasts now, still somewhere in the middle of trying to get a setup at Chris's house going. He's having a bit of trouble. Yeah, he was supposed to be with me today to record this one because it was supposed to be like a back and forward discussion type thing, but he's actually he's had some family matter to deal with, some emergency. So I was like, obviously, dude, he's like apologising, mate. You've got family stuff to deal with. Don't worry about coming down here. I can just set up the camera and have a crack to the visuals. So hopefully everything's going alright with Chris and whatever he's dealing with right now. I'm sure I'll speak to him later. But today, you've seen the thumbnail. We were both going to discuss our favourite superstars of all time. So we're just going to talk about mine. We'll just do a nice short one. Let us know in the comments below, any of you wrestling visuals out there that like wrestling, who your favourite ones are in the comments below. Who you think the greatest of all time. And all that yada yada yada. So let's get started, right? And let's talk about my favourite superstars of all time. And let's kick off with number 5. And it has to be The Undertaker. The Undertaker has been one of the most amazing, not just like wrestlers to watch, but one of the most amazing performers. The entrance, his music, his aura, his demeanour, is that the word? Just his presence, like such a daunting, scary, the hell looking figure. And a lot of people slate his American Badass look. Personally, I liked it. I thought it was cool. I don't prefer it as much as his Dead Man, but it was a cool little thing, change in his character. I thought it was fine. But yeah, Undertaker, he's put on some of the greatest matches of all time. Some could even argue the greatest matches of all time. Maybe even the greatest superstar of all time, some people would argue. Just number 5 for me, though, on the list. But I love the guy. I think he was truly amazing, to watch. I would love to have seen him live at any given time, but unfortunately that never happened. And hopefully he's got one more match left in him. We know he's coming back for the Raw's birthday, 25th birthday. Whether he's going to perform or not, we don't know. But yeah, Undertaker. Next up, this list was, I'm going back and forward so many times to list the outright visuals. Okay, so you're gonna have to bear with me. It's The Rock. Now, The Rock was, when you go back and you think about it, you rewatch his matches, he wasn't the greatest wrestler of all time. But because he could talk and because of how he acted and how he portrayed his character of The Rock in the ring and stuff, it didn't matter. His matches always felt huge. They felt big. And the crowd were always so invested, you know, when he chucks up the rock bottom, when he's doing his promos, if you smell, all that stuff. The second his music kicks in, everyone goes nuts. And obviously he's one of the biggest, not just actors or wrestlers, but celebrities of all time. I think he'll probably go down as one of the biggest celebrities of all time. He's destroyed the box office. But yeah, it's always great. And when he comes back, because he's probably got a hectic schedule, when he gets back from doing his films and stuff, it's always great. Some people weren't happy with the matches that he had with, against Cena and stuff. Personally, I love them because I thought, hey, my favourite guy against one of my favourite guys. His WrestleMania match against Hogan was awesome. Yeah, The Rock's a hard person not to like. I know I've slated him sometimes about him doing too many films and he's getting a bit like, oh, for God's sakes, another Rock film. But he still seems like an awesome person. And number 3 on the list, man. See, originally Rock was 5, Undertaker was 3. I didn't know if to put him this high, but it's CM Punk. I know, right, I should be thinking more of legends and stuff, which is fine. Yeah, I know I should be, your Shawn Michaels and stuff. But something about CM Punk, because he's that kind of guy with the tattoos, he loves comic books. In interviews and stuff, he always said he felt like a bit of an outsider and he just loved doing his thing. He loved these comic books. He didn't care what everybody thought. I was like, I can pure relate to that. Not saying I was like an outsider and stuff, but the whole comic book aspect and not giving a crap what people think. Plus, he writ an issue, a series of Drax, which I've got. He was great in the ring. He was great on the mic. Yeah, just something about the guy. Absolutely loved. I thought he was an amazing wrestler, amazing to watch. I enjoyed watching him in UFC, even though it didn't last long. I enjoyed watching it. So CM Punk, hopefully they can bury the hatchet and come back. I'm sorry, I'm debating myself again already because there was somebody else that was going to take this spot. But yeah, CM Punk, yeah, he's going to have to be my 3rd favourite superstar of all time. He was amazing. And I know my superstars are a bit like mix and match. They're not like sticking in one theme, but CM Punk was awesome. Number 2 is going to have to be Right, now this is the one that I've swayed back and forward so many times. The second I say who number 2 is, you'll know who my number 1 is. If you've watched the rest of the stuff I do loads. Number 2 is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold. I don't need to sell you guys on Stone Cold. Even if you're not really a wrestling fan anymore and you listen to this for whatever reason, thank you for listening. You know how badass Stone Cold is. Amazing. The second that glass shatters on his theme tune, everybody loses their minds. Stunners get chucked out. Everybody's loving it. The B is the whole character, the whole gimmick, the badass. And I'm pretty sure he is just like a legitimate in real life badass. But yeah, I don't need to sell you on him anymore. Stone Cold. And at number 1, can you guess it? Say it with his people, John Cena. Now, before all of you's like, how could Cena be the greatest wrestler of all time? Granted, in-ring performance, like as in moves and stuff, he's not. But his all-round character, like, people say, why do you like John Cena? Why do you like John Cena? It wasn't because he's had so many titles and stuff like that. It was because of everything he represents and what he stands for. And as a human being, the whole work hard, respect and all that. It's just like, I don't know how you can't admire that. And there's something everybody has to admit. There's something about when Cena steps in the ring, the matches he's in, they feel absolutely magical. You forget that this is all some sort of fiction and it's like a work of art, and the crowd, you know, when he gets in the ring and he looks around and his opponents on the other side of the ring, they just look around and everyone's proper on edge. They're like, that takes something truly special to do. I have no idea how you would get that gift to make an arena of people scream and all you're doing is standing there. And yeah, I just love everything he does. You know, the guy tries his hardest to give everybody a good time, whether you're against him or you're for him. He's amazing. I love the guy. So Cena has to be my number 1 of all time because of that reason. Yeah. See, I was going back and forth with him and Stone Cold. And yeah, another thing with Cena, like him or hate him, he has to have a record sit in WWE. I know he's got a couple, but he has to have the title record. It has to be done. I feel like he's earned it. He's done everything. I know at first he was maybe the golden boy. Everything handed to him slightly, maybe, with McMahon and that saying he's going to be our top guy, but he's worked hard. But that was my favourite superstars. I was hoping to do me, then Chris, and me, then Chris, and me, then Chris. But you just got me for this one. So hopefully you got visuals, enjoyed it still. And yeah, Chris, hopefully everything's going right with your family and stuff. But yeah, let us know in the comments below your favourite superstars of all time. And visuals, thanks for listening to the podcast. Hopefully it's going to get bigger and better. You guys are the freaking biggest bunch of legends ever. Visuals, keep being you and keep on keeping on.